on Instagram. I guess you wouldn't know that. We couldn't log in today for some reason. It was acting a little weird. So things happen. It's okay. I got you guys. That's all that matters, right? You guys are here with me. So John's getting everything set up. If you're new to the show, the way this works is I talk for 24 minutes. Whatever platform you're on, you can ask any health question you have. Just type the health question in on the platform. John then will go ahead and read me the question after 24 minutes. I'll answer it if I have an answer. Then I'll do another 24 minutes, and then John will read me more questions. So this is a great opportunity for you to ask any questions you have. Just type it in on a platform, and at the end of 24 minutes, I will go ahead and answer it. So we're ready to go, John, whenever you are. All right, here we go. Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. Glad you're with me today. We're going to do an adult show today. So if children are watching or you don't want your kids to listen, this is probably not the show you want to listen to. We're going to talk about romance and stamina and performance issues. It's a very common issue. In fact, I probably get maybe 5 to 10 questions a week on my website, drjoe.com, from men and women with concerns about this. And it's a sign, excuse me, it's a sign that there's something wrong. And you got to look at this as not only, hey, I'm getting old, but something's not working. And many times when it comes to performance issues, it could be a problem with blood supply, clogged arteries, heart disease. So it's not just a, hey, this is embarrassing or, hey, I'm just getting old. It's let's take this as a warning sign. There's something wrong. So most of us would like a little boost when it comes to romance. So whether you're in a long-term relationship, you have a new partner, you want to keep the excitement going, and it's nice to be able to function in that realm. I'm trying to keep this as generic as I can as possible here. The good news, there are foods and supplements that you can eat and take to actually help in that area. And most people don't think about this. They think, okay, the only thing out there is maybe the little blue pill. And that's it. There's no other options. There's a ton of other options. So we're going to talk about that today. So there was a study done. It was in the Journal of Sexual Medicine, and it shows that couples usually go, romance is about 13 minutes, 13 to 16 minutes, somewhere in there. That's average, and that's what people are comfortable with. So we don't have to be like we're in a movie somewhere. It's okay to be normal when it comes to this and average. But there are certain foods and vitamins that are going to boost your performance, going to boost your energy, going to boost your mood. Because when it comes to romance, we a lot of times we address the physical, we don't address the mental. Because there are neurotransmitters in the brain that actually make our body work. Dopamine is one of them. And dopamine gives us pleasure. So there are people that have dopamine issues. And the dopamine production or utilization isn't proper. And so they don't experience pleasure like other people do. And that kind of goes in all aspects of their life. It was good. It was okay. Whether it's romance or a vacation or food, it was all right. So what I try to do is I say, okay, is there anything blocking the production or utilization of dopamine? And what can we do to increase that as well? So we need neurological. We have to have the nerves working properly because the brain tells the body how to work. We have to have blood supply working properly for men and women, extremely important. And we have to have brain function. And we have those three things. Now, hopefully, things can start returning to normal or getting to normal. Some people it's never been normal with, and that's not uncommon. I mean, you'd be surprised. I mean, I've seen a lot of patients over 40 years, and many times they'll say, never was a thing for me. But oftentimes that could be a sign that something's wrong. Now, not everybody is the same, but we want to consider maybe there's something up here. So there are foods that can increase the blood supply and the nerves and the body and the brain and everything. So let's start out watermelon. Watermelon sounds like fun, right? Watermelon has something called L-citrulline. Now, citrulline converts into nitric oxide in the body. And nitric oxide opens up your blood vessels. Now, I posted on social media the other day about L-citrulline, and I talked about a supplement, which I recommend you take. And she said, I think it was a she said, well, why don't I just eat watermelon? It has L-citrulline in it. But L-citrulline in watermelon is small amounts. And it's good, nothing wrong with it, but the supplements are a more, I guess I could say medicinal dose. It's more of you're going to get a better reaction with the supplements. Now, I use this a lot for people for circulatory issues. Raynaud syndrome, I want to make sure circulation going to the brain, the reproductive organs, but blood pressure as well. Many times if somebody's on high blood pressure medication, their libido is just gone. And their functional capacity is gone too, because you need good blood supply to the organs. And so if you have high blood pressure and you're taking medication, a high blood pressure can really kind of ruin things for you. So the L-citrulline, very good idea. watermelon is great. But in order to get the same dosage that you'd get from a supplement, you'd have to eat an awful lot of watermelon. And that's an awful lot of sugar. It's an awful lot of volume. And that probably wouldn't be the best thing. So watermelon absolutely can be part of the game. But I wouldn't recommend it as saying I'm going to take this and get this amazing response. I take Dr. Joe's nitric oxide support for circulation, brain, reproductive organs, blood pressure, and circulation to all the organs, not just your reproductive organs, your heart, your lungs, your liver, your spleen, your kidneys. You want to have good circulation. Now, with nitric oxide supplements, be careful. If you have low blood pressure, send me an email. I'll send you a special protocol because it's different with people with low blood pressure because it can make the blood pressure go too low. And when I tell people to take nitric oxide supplements, I tell them, monitor your blood pressure. If it goes too low, you need to talk to your doctor and say, hey, listen, maybe I can come off my medication or reduce my medication. You should not reduce or eliminate medication. I can't do it for you. Go talk to the prescribing physician and say, hey, listen, I've been doing nitric oxide support. I've been changing my diet. I'm getting my nervous system working properly. My blood pressure is returning to normal. What can we do about that? I've never had a doctor worth his salt ever say, well, no, keep taking the medication. You know what? Let's lower the medication. Let's see what happens. And then it's an opportunity to not just treat the symptoms of the high blood pressure, but actually the cause, which could be low nitric oxide production. And it happens in all of us. As you get older, your nitric oxide levels drop. And so that's why I like a nitric oxide supplement. I take it every day. I have normal blood pressure, but I love my nitric oxide supplements. So one of the things that happens is, with the nitric oxide supplements, I find I think clearer. I have more energy. I feel better. I feel more energized all the way across the board, mentally and physically. And so looking at a nitric oxide supplement is probably something you want to consider. And we have one on our website, drjoe.com. That's the one I take. And I tell people, start out with 1, see how you feel. Then take 2 the next day, 3 the next day, 4 the next day. I take 4 a day. I'm about 185, 190 pounds. I take 4 a day. So you got to find out what's going to work best for you. But I'm a huge fan of nitric oxide. And the citrulline from the watermelon is actually what we make the supplement from. It's just concentrated. So if you're just tuning in, we're talking today about foods and supplements that can help increase your romantic life. Again, I'm trying to keep it as generic as possible here. Chili peppers also work. Chili peppers are vasodilators. So what that means is you start adding some hot, spicy peppers to your meals, and it's going to open up the blood vessels, just like citrulline, just like nitric oxide supplements. Now, the nitric oxide is going to, it's produced in your body. This capsaicin is going to open up the blood vessels and increase circulation as well. So if you like spicy foods, it's a really good thing to add to your protocol. In fact, years ago, I used to do a lecture every Valentine's Day, and I do it in, live, usually at conferences or at health food stores, and I called it the food romance connection. And there's such a connection between what you eat and your romantic capabilities and your romantic lifestyle. And as we get older, nitric oxide drops, circulation isn't what it used to be, neurological supply isn't what it used to be, production of neurotransmitters isn't what it used to be, and so the body doesn't work as well as it used to. And that's okay. It's okay to get older, but you don't have to totally shut down. So I would talk about, let's go out to a romantic dinner. So let's assume you want to have a romantic dinner, and you think about a romantic dinner as being, steak and potatoes, glass of wine, cheesecake, coffee for dessert, artificial sweeteners. And I'd break down item by item what you're eating. So if you're going to eat a steak is high in saturated fats, and saturated fats can clump your red blood cells together, and that can affect blood supply. It makes the blood thicker. Now, if you're going to eat meat, I do request that you eat organic only. And the reason is, even 30, 40 years ago, we didn't have steroids, chemicals, hormones, antibiotics, genetically modified food, glyphosate. The combination of things that are in the meat supply is very different now than it was even 30 years ago. So if you're going to eat meat, please do organic, and definitely stay away from processed meats. Cold cuts, salamis, those have a lot of chemicals in it that are very dangerous. And we do know that they're linked to cancer in many cases. So stay away from the processed meats. If you're going to eat a meat, organic meat only. And if you grill it, those grill marks are called heterocyclic amines. And heterocyclic amines have been linked to cancer. And if you grill it, and that wonderful smell that comes out, I used to love the smell. I probably still do. I haven't smelled it in a while. The smell of meat grilling, those are called polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, also may be linked to cancer. So broiling your meat's going to be a better choice. but don't get those grill marks. When it gets too hot, that's when these chemicals are formed. So, and also small amounts. Okay, if we look at other countries, a lot of other countries that have the longest living people, and people that can have children well into their later years, the one diet that's been double-blind studied, approved, everyone seems to agree on, the Mediterranean diet. And the Mediterranean diet is mostly fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. A little bit of animal protein, usually seafood, a little bit of dairy in the form of cheese, but again, organic, and maybe a little bit of alcohol. So I would love for you to eat nothing but fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds in a plant-based diet. That would be wonderful. But if you're going to eat animal products, meat, butter, cheese, yogurt, eggs, ice cream, I do recommend organic only. So I'll negotiate with you on that one. Again, when it comes to your romance, that's kind of important. What's more important, hot dog or, having a little intimacy? And so you got to decide what's more important to you. And I think I tell people that to think about that every meal. Is it worth it? That's always the question I like to ask. Is it worth it? Is it worth having that double beef cheeseburger on white bread with artificially processed cheese food spread that's been grilled, that has heterocyclic amines and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons? Or is it better to have something maybe not as flavorful, hyper palatable, I guess is the right word I want to say, maybe like some hummus instead? To me, I want to live the best life I possibly can. And if you look at the studies, Mediterranean diet, hands down, beats everybody. So that's the direction I recommend you go in. Not just for romance, but for overall health as well. Because like I said earlier, if you're having trouble in the romantic department, especially functioning, that could be a sign of clogged arteries. It could be a sign of heart disease. It could be a sign of pinched nerves. The nervous system controls everything. Neurological issues might be there. So let's think about why it's happening. All right, other foods that can help when it comes to romance. Apples and onions, actually, because they have something called quercetin. Now, quercetin is an antioxidant, and it plays a role in improving endurance. So the same muscles and the same physical challenges that occur when you work out can occur in a romantic arena there. Elevated heart rate, increased metabolism, you're burning calories, muscle contractions. And so that can equate to endurance and extending your time together. So quercetin, apples are great. Now, onions, of course, are high in quercetin as well. Quercetin is a wonderful antihistamine. So if you have sinus problems, inflamed sinuses, or any type of inflammation, antihistamines can work on the histamine. Now, histamine's important. If I have an issue, my body releases histamine to create swelling, but sometimes that histamine gets out of control. So you can take a medical antihistamine, because histamine is also used for energy. And if we take an antihistamine, what happens? We get tired. Right? Anybody ever do that? I've done it. You take an antihistamine and you're just wiped out because it's shutting down the histamine too much. You need some histamine. But quercetin is that nice natural balance. So you can take a quercetin supplement, but apples and onions are great. Now, when it comes to romance, you got to be careful with the onions because, of course, it can give you bad breath. But if you do eat onions or garlic, I'm going to talk about that coming up, you want to eat parsley. Parsley has chlorophyll, which bonds to that stinky molecule and helps get the bad breath under control. Now, it may not get it totally under control. So think about what your plans are that evening and what you're going to be eating that day. And that's kind of important, too, because that can be a real downer if you got really bad breath. So that can be an issue, too. And when it comes to bad breath, it could be a digestive issue. I teach this a lot when it comes to bad breath. There's two types. One is a rotten tooth. Okay, and I was at a concert the other day, and I was talking to somebody, and they definitely had a rotten tooth. I can tell plaque was built up, gum disease. They needed to get to a dentist. But if your breath ever smells like an outhouse, trying to keep it comfortable here. If your breath ever smells like an outhouse, it could be you're not digesting your food properly. And the food, real simply put, is rotting in your colon, and those gases from the rotten food is getting into your blood system. The gases are exchanged in your lungs, and then you breathe them out. And so if you have that type of breath, and I think we've all met people like that, it's a really good idea to check your digestive system. So one thing we do for patients like that is we check to see if the stomach is pushed up against the diaphragm. If the stomach pushes up against the diaphragm, you might have heartburn, acid reflux, sinus problems, but bad breath is one of the symptoms. And what we do in our office, we physically manipulate or pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm. We can adjust the stomach. And in most cases, that solves the problem. Now, you also have to have a diet high in fiber, because fiber is going to feed the good bacteria in your colon. It's called prebiotics. And you produce something called short-chain fatty acids, and short-chain fatty acids like butyrate actually make the lining of the colon healthier and stronger to prevent leaky gut syndrome where food and particles can leak into the blood system. So a high-fiber diet is wonderful not only for keeping everything regular, but also produces the short-chain fatty acids. So another thing you want to consider, another reason to eat a high-fiber diet, and all the foods we're talking about today are plant foods, high fiber. So physically, we want the body to work properly. Now, you can also have a neurological issue. If you have a pinched nerve in the low back, that's the nerve that controls your colon, your sex organs, and your bladder. So when it comes to men and women coming to me for romantic issues, I always check the nerves in the low back. Because if you have back pain, chances are you have a pinched nerve. But 90% of your nerves don't feel pain. You can have a pinched nerve and not know it. So in cases like that, what we do then is we check the nerve supply, and we have ways to check the nerves that feel pain and the nerves that don't feel pain. So if you have pain, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, sciatica, make an appointment to come see us. In the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Normally, the first visit is $940. I've reduced that to $299. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays on your follow-up visit, and a complete nutrition evaluation. Normally $940, we've reduced that to $299. I do that because I want to find out what's going to be the best course of treatment for you. Is it chiropractic? Is it orthopedist, neurology, neurosurgeon, physical therapy, psychiatrist? I don't know. So go to my website, drjoe.com. You can book an appointment right now. And if you have questions, you can always send me questions through the website, drjoe.com. I'm happy to answer your questions for you. Not just on this topic, any health topic. So where's your new hangout? drjoe.com. And make sure you follow me on social media. We post every day. It's Dr. Joe Esposito. Facebook is the Dr. Joe Esposito. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn. Become part of our family because I want to be your doctor. I want to answer those questions that we all have that most people don't know where to turn. I want to be that source of information for you. And I want to be your doctor as well. And we accept most insurances, by the way, car accidents, sports injuries. We're even on the Veterans Administration referral list, the VA list. So we've been around 40 years. We've got a good background here. We've got a lot of experience behind us. So drjoe.com, and stop suffering. So many people suffer. Now, for men with issues in the performance, we have a whole separate protocol. If you not separate, but additional protocol. So if you send me an email through the website, I'll send you the protocol that we use for men specifically. So we're talking today about foods that can help your romantic prowess. How's that for keeping it clean? So we talked about quercetin. It's found in apples, but what it can do, it helps create new mitochondria. Now, if you listen to my shows and my podcast before, I love the word mitochondria. Mitochondria is a little cell inside the cell. Okay, it's called an organelle. You have a cell, and then inside the cell is a whole bunch of different things. And one of them is a mitochondria. And it increases oxidative capacity, which means you use oxygen more efficiently. So the more mitochondria we have, the better we perform from a muscular standpoint. Now, when it comes to romance for men and women, there's a lot of muscles involved. And so the quercetin can help the new mitochondria form, which can utilize oxygen more efficiently, which can help the muscles perform at a much higher level. And so that's why apples are so important. You always say apple a day can keep the doctor away. Yeah, it can, but it does a whole lot more than that. It's fiber, it's vitamin C. Now, here's the thing with apples. I prefer you eat organic because I want you to eat the skin. But most apples, they're sprayed with chemicals when they're on the tree. And then many times they're dipped in wax to make them shiny, sent out to the store. Well, that's wonderful. But that wax traps the chemicals against the skin. And so if you ever do this, and this is a fun little thing you can do if you're really bored, is take an apple and dip it in really hot water. Watch the wax rise to the top. That's all the wax melting off the apple. So I don't want you eating the wax. That's really not that bad. But it certainly isn't good. But I don't want you eating the chemicals trapped under the wax. So if you're going to eat an apple, I recommend organic only. Or if you don't get organic, peel it first. Let's get the skin, that wax, and those chemicals off. And organic is always going to be a better choice. And I find the organic actually tastes better too. So if you're just tuning in, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. We're talking today about foods that can help in the romantic department. Ginger is a wonderful one. Ginger can improve your romance by increasing blood flow to the entire body. Now, ginger, I always joke around as an aphrodisiac, and there was a study in the Internal Journal of Cardiology. Consuming a teaspoon of ginger just a couple of times a week has a lot of heart-healthy benefits and circulation benefits. So go ahead. If you want to have sushi, I eat plant-based sushi. I eat like avocado sushi, eggplant sushi. I don't eat the fish because I worry about raw fish and parasites and mercury. But you can get plant-based sushi all day, every day, vegetables, and get the ginger and eat the ginger. What I do, especially in the winter, is I'll get organic ginger, peel it, and puree it. I'll put it in a food processor, about covered halfway with lemon juice, organic lemon juice, and puree the heck out of it, pour it in an ice cube tray, and make ginger cubes. Now, I have them all the time because sometimes I want to cook with them. If I want to make an Indian dish like a dal, or if I want to use it in anything, I have these ginger cubes, ginger and lemon cubes, and I can just put it in there. But I take a cube, I put hot water in it. You can sweeten it if you use honey or stevia, and drink that. Boy, burst of energy, really warms you up in the winter. Or you can make it cold, add a little seltzer to it if you want to. Let it melt a little bit, make some with hot water, and then add seltzer to it and make like a ginger ale. How cool is that? And it helps settle your stomach too. It can help with nausea. So ginger tea is really a lot of fun. But if you're going to eat ginger from a sushi restaurant, try to get the one that's beige and not pink. The pink ginger, is actually dyed. Why they dye it pink, I have no idea. I cannot find anywhere why that's a good thing, or why it's even a preferred thing. So ginger should be beige colored, and it's wonderful. I love it. It helps with digestion. It helps with vertigo, and it helps when it comes to the romantic department as well. Or you could just make your own. Now, there's two types of ginger if you buy it. The small ones, the organic ones, are kind of small and really crinkly and have a lot of shoots on them. And sometimes you get these big chunks of ginger. Don't use those big chunks. The small organic ones are a lot better for you. Harder to peel. What I do is I have a glove that I wear and a peeler, and so when I peel, I don't cut my finger because I cut my finger too many times. But you can buy a glove to use when you're peeling things, and that's what I have. I have two of them, actually, because I peel a lot of things. I like my ginger, and it's so good for you. It's wonderful, and cheaper than going out and buying a fancy tea at a fancy store, too. So if you're just tuning in again, we're talking about foods that help with romance. I see I'm coming up on a break here. Gosh, I got so much more to cover. All right, let me try to do omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 fatty acids are amazing, and this is a study from the journal Food and Function. It can help your performance, and additional research shows that cutting back on your calories and sticking to a Mediterranean diet, you're going to get more of those omega-3 fatty acids. Now, you can get them from things like walnuts, flax seeds. Many people use fish oil. A lot of the fish oil is not in what's called the phospholipid form, and it has to be converted into the phospholipid form in order to be usable. And also, a lot of fish oil has mercury in it, and it goes rancid pretty quickly. So I'm not a fan of fish oil for omega-3s. You can also do krill oil, which is good, but I prefer the algae oil. I take a gram of algae oil every day. Brain function, inflammation, helps build your hormones, romance. Really important to get those omega-3 fatty acids, and they're called essential fatty acids. And essential fatty acids means it's essential. You have to get it from an outside source. So you can eat fish, but again, you're under risk of mercury. And when you heat the fish, if you heat the fish a lot, it kills a lot of the omega-3 fatty acids. But if you eat it raw, you run the risk of parasites. So, like Elvis Presley said, I'm caught in a trap. So that's why I prefer the algae oil supplements. The purest form, I take them every day. They're on my website, drjoe.com. Especially when it comes to brain function, yeah, I would strongly advise it. When I do seminars on brain function, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, I always recommend omega-3 as part of the protocol. So, and again, it can help for so many different things, not just the romantic department. All right, got to go to a break. Got a lot more to cover. Don't go anywhere. If you have any questions, send them to me through my website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. You can also follow me on social media, Dr. Joe Esposito. Facebook is the Dr. Joe Esposito. We post every day. And do you like podcasts? If you like podcasts, you're going to get podcasts from me too. So you've got radio shows. You've got short form and long form radio shows. You've got the shorts on social media. And the podcast is Dr. Joe for the health of it. Dr. Joe for the health of it. So if you're serious about wanting to get well, you have all these sources. We have all our radio shows on our website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. You can order supplements on the website, send me questions, book appointments. I'm trying to make this as easy as possible. And in 40 years, I still get excited every day because I want to get you well and keep you well. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Okay. All right. I just thought we could have uninstalled and reinstalled the Instagram app. Maybe that helped. We're not on Instagram for some reason. Our app wasn't working today. So, all right, John, questions for me.
Is swimming in lakes okay?
I'm not a fan of swimming in lakes. I mean, maybe it's a pure lake up in Canada that hasn't been tampered with. But I know we have a big lake here in Atlanta, Lake Lanier, and I haven't swam in there in years. But my friend Tim, whenever he'd go water skiing, he'd come out with a severe, raging sinus infection and earache. So I'm not a fan of swimming in lakes. I think ocean is a much better choice. So.
Are 20-hour daily fasts okay?
Yes, absolutely. Daily is kind of tough. If you're only going to eat in a window of 4 hours, that might be a little tight. So I would probably say maybe a window of 6 hours eating, okay? And I wouldn't recommend it every day either because your metabolism can change. So I'd recommend maybe 2-3 times a week doing that, and then the other days doing at least every day should be at least 12 hours. But those long 18-hour fasts, you might want to shake it up a little bit just to keep your metabolism going. So I'd say a 6-hour window is probably better. So what else?
What are the best store-bought soups?
Best store-bought soups. Wow. Pacifico, I think, is one. Pacifico is a good one. I like them in they're like milk cartons. And the organic ones in milk cartons are probably going to be your better bet. My concern with cans, and I've always been a concern with cans, is that it may be leaching bisphenol A into it or chemicals or heavy metals. And bisphenol A is an endocrine disruptor. So the hermetically sealed, like milk ones are better. Gosh, I can't think of the other brands. That's the only one I can think of right now. But yeah, as long as it's organic in one of those containers, you should be okay. So.
Besides potatoes, which foods should I store in the fridge after cooking?
Oh, anything. Anything that's a carbohydrate. Even if you're going to eat pastas, rice, grains, quinoa, potatoes, what you want to do is cook it, cool it overnight, and then eat it the next day because it changes the molecular structure and it creates something called a resistant starch. And resistant starches, you absorb about 40 to 60% less carbohydrates than you would if you cooked a potato and ate it right away, or even the pasta. Now, I don't recommend you eat pasta, of course, but if you're going to, these are rules to follow. I don't expect you to be perfect. I expect you to be moving forward. And so creating a resistant starch is so important. And I very seldom eat anything, including potatoes, that I haven't cooked and cooled. And if you heat it and cool it again, it actually creates more resistant starch. I don't know how many times that's going to work, but I know even the second time creates more resistant starches. So, yeah, resistant starches are great. And sweet potatoes are great. White-skinned sweet potatoes are great. Make sure they're organic. They're not really potatoes, by the way, but they're called potatoes. And if you're going to do potatoes, please do organic because they grow underground. They can absorb chemicals. So organic, anything underground should be organic. So, what else you got?
What does nitric oxide do for women?
What does nitric oxide do for women? All of us have nitric oxide, and it's a gas. It's produced in the blood vessels, and it opens up the blood supply. So it can lower blood pressure, increase circulation to the brain, the heart, the lungs, the liver, the legs. But when it comes to romance, it increases the circulation to the women parts as well. Because for both men and women, we have to have blood engorgement in order to have a proper function. Now, for women, it may not be as obvious, but when there's engorgement, it opens up and kind of makes the nerves more sensitive. So it works for both men and women when it comes to romance. And I strongly advise that you consider that. Unless you have low blood pressure, then send me an email. So.
What are your favorite Indian dishes?
Oh, gosh. Bhindi masala. Oh, light just came on. So, bhindi masala, I think it is. That's the okra. I love dal, but usually in an Indian restaurant, they're going to make it with dairy products. So I make my own dal. And it's lentils, split peas. Split peas? Yeah. And coconut milk, ginger, garlic. What was in there? Turmeric. And I grow turmeric in my backyard. It grows like a weed. So I've got it in areas that really it's not my lawn or anything like that. And I'll just go pick my own turmeric. Once you plant it, it just keeps growing and growing. So I would probably say dal, eggplant. I like the roasted eggplant as long as they don't put dairy in it. So the eggplant, dal, and the bhindi masala. I think those are my favorites. So.
That is all.
Okay. Wonderful. Wow. Good question on Indian food. Never got that question before. All right. We ready? Now we have lights again. How's it look? Better, John, with the lights? Okay, well, there you go. I don't know what happened. Now, lights were out this morning, and all of a sudden they just came on. So, all right, ready for part 2? Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito. If you just joined us, welcome. If you stayed with me, I do appreciate that. We're talking today about foods and supplements that can help in the romantic department. Again, we're trying to use generic words here, but you understand what I'm trying to say. So a lot of people think, well, the little blue pill for men, nothing for women, and that's it. You're getting old, and that's it. Just shut down the shop. Well, we don't have to do that. A good diet is going to allow much longer participation. And I know people that eat a bad diet. I have a friend of mine, and he drinks a lot, and he eats a lot of meats and dairy products. He got a big gut on him. And he was in his 40s when things stopped working. And he basically said, I'm done. I don't care. And he tried pills and stuff like that. But I talked to him. I said, listen, alcohol lowers testosterone. You've got clogged arteries because the alcohol can really clog the arteries as well. You got to get the nerve supply going. You have a lot of fat. Fat produces estrogen. Estrogen counteracts testosterone. We got to build those testosterone molecules up. And he didn't care. He said, I'd rather have a beer. Okay, it's your choice. Absolutely. But again, if you're just joining us, when it comes to romantic dysfunction, many cases, it's a sign that there's something wrong. It's telling us something isn't working properly. And it could be heart disease, could be a neurological issue, could be a pinched nerve, could be a neurotransmitter issue, could be clogged arteries. So that worries me when people say, I don't care. I understand you don't care about that, but look at the warning sign. It's like a fire alarm going off saying, well, I don't care, I'll just put earplugs in. Well, the fire alarm's still going off. Something's telling you something's wrong. Don't ignore it. So we're talking today, I'll just continue on. We talked about omega-3 fatty acids right before the break. And the omega-3 fatty acids are so important to make the body function and to clean out the arteries and to help with nitric oxide production. And so that's why I recommend taking omega-3 fatty acid supplement. I don't recommend fish oil, like I said earlier, because fish oil, many times it's not in the right form. It's not in a phospholipid form. It's rancid, and it can turn mercury. So I like the algae omega-3s. I take it every day. It's probably the most expensive supplement I take, but it's worth it. And here's the thing. When it comes to cost, it's all relative. I was out the other day and with a friend of mine, and we went shopping, and we had lunch, and lunch was $35 for the two of us. And then we went shopping, and she said, that shirt's a little expensive. It's like $14. Oh, that's a little expensive. And I kind of laughed. And I said, wait, we just spent $35 for a meal that's going to be out of us in 4 hours. You're going to buy a shirt for $12 or $14, whatever it was, and that's too expensive. You're going to have a shirt, for years to come. So it's all relative. What's important to you? To me, nothing is more important than health. I can't imagine anything more important than my health because I'm going to have crises in my life. I'm going to have family members die. I'm going to have relationships end. I'm going to have issues with people. All that's going to come and go. But if I'm healthy, I'm able to work through those things a lot better and understand that that's a temporary setback. If your health is shot, that can be a permanent setback, like permanent meaning forever. So I can't imagine anything being more important than health. And if you're eating a healthy diet, if you're eating a plant-based diet, you're going to save so much money. It's ridiculous. I hear it all the time. Dr. Joe, I can't believe how much money I have at the end of the week now since I started eating what you told me to eat. The food's great. You feel better. You go to the bathroom better. You sleep better. Your love life improves. You lose weight. Your brain works better. There's no downside to eating a good diet except one. The junk food tastes good. There's branches of food companies, and they're called food scientists, and their goal is to make food hyper-palatable. What does that mean? Make it so tasty that you want to eat more of it. It's just that simple. Hyper-palatable foods. I don't want you eating hyper-palatable foods because once you eat one, what's the phrase? Can't eat just one? Once you start, it's really hard to stop. I know that. I can't have a potato chip. I can't have a cookie. I can have a bag of potato chips. I can have a box of cookies, but I can't have a cookie. Because once I eat those foods that stimulate the nucleus accumbens in my brain and I start releasing dopamine and I start getting high from it, I want more. I am no different than you. If I have bread, I want more bread. Now, if I eat sprouted bread, and you can get that in a grocery store, it's called sprouted bread, I don't have that reaction. I can eat sprouted bread and go, okay, just had a piece, I'm fine. If I have a bagel, high gluten, which breaks down, it can irritate the bowels, but also the white flour really just converts into sugar, I want more. And so just consider that. And I want you to think about this. Next time you have a craving for sugar, think about what you had the meal before, 2 meals before. I'm going to bet you it was sugar. Because I'm like that. If I have something sweet, I want more sweet because it gives me pleasure. So just consider that and say, okay, you know what? I enjoyed that sweet 2 meals ago, but I'm going to stop now. And then if you stop for a meal or two, you're fine. Your brain reboots itself. But that's the key is when I try to get people to lose weight, I always talk about rebooting the brain. And so we have actually a plan. It's called the 21-Day Dr. Joe Detox. It's on our website, drjoe.com. Just put in 21-day in a search bar. And in 21 days, you lose a lot of weight, but you clean out the digestive system, and we find that it helps reset the brain so the cravings start to calm down. So there's ways around this stuff, okay? It doesn't have to all be a drug. There's ways around to get the body back to normal again. If you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, headaches, blurred vision, sciatica, that's telling me you have some pinched nerve somewhere. And the most effective, least expensive treatment for that is chiropractic care. Had a lady come in last week from India, and she was a pediatrician. And she came to me and she said, I have beginnings of Parkinson's, starting to shake, shoulder pain, neck pain. And so I did the evaluation with her, and I'm explaining everything to her. I'm talking about the stomach, how it breaks proteins into amino acids. And about halfway through, she says, I'm a medical doctor. I understand this. I said, great. I said, but this is not something that's taught this way to look at it. And there's nothing wrong with medical school. I'm not knocking medicine. What I am saying is different ways to look at things and combine all that knowledge for the benefit of the patient. That's how I love being treated that way. When I have to go see my MD, I want to make sure that, hey, what else is there? What else can we do? Let's do this, and this. Great. I love when they take my blood. They go, you got the blood of a 35-year-old. I had a brain function for a 32-year-old. I had a test done 3 years ago, brain function for a 32-year-old. So, yeah, we don't have to age like everybody else. Keep our body healthy. And then my Indian friend, she said, I like the way you think. Because that's how we think in India. We talk about Ayurvedic medicine and herbs. She goes, I just like the way you think. But she said, I need your help because I have a problem that isn't a medical problem. It's a chiropractic problem. It's a nutrition problem. And I love when people say that. Let's all work together. We don't have to fight. There's plenty of patients out there. That's why we try to get to the cause of the problem, not just treat the symptoms. But I digress. All right. If you want to make an appointment to come see us, go to my website, drjoe.com. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. I want to be your doctor. So just go to drjoe.com, book an appointment right online. Normally, the first visit is $940. I've reduced that for you, my listeners, to $299. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays, and a complete nutrition evaluation. And I do that because I want to find out what's going to be the best course of treatment for you. Very low risk, very high reward for you. We accept almost all insurances, car accidents, sports injuries, workers' comp cases. We want to be your doctor. So drjoe.com, stop suffering. I have patients come in all the time, almost every day. And they'll say, I've been listening to you for 2 years, 5 years, 20 years, 40 years. And I've been meaning to come see you. And they finally make an appointment. And almost inevitably, they're going to say, why didn't I do this sooner? Why did I wait 10 years, 20 years, 2 weeks? I don't know. We're here. Been here for a long time. And I want to continue being here. And I really want to be your doctor. So just go to my website, drjoe.com, book your appointment. Stop suffering. I mean, it just breaks my heart when people come in and we could have fixed them 20 years ago when we didn't. So drjoe.com. So what we're talking about today are foods that can help with the romantic department. Now, bananas can be helpful because they're high in potassium. And potassium can relax muscles, reduce cramping, and it can help your muscles work more efficiently. And according to the American Heart Association, potassium can be helpful in managing blood pressure. And again, we have to have normal blood flow for men and women when it comes to every function, including romance. So we want to make sure the blood is flowing right. Oats can be helpful. Now, you might see on an oat package, heart healthy, lowers cholesterol. True. There are studies. They've done enough studies to show that. But I want you to eat the best kind of oats. If you're going to eat oats, I want you to eat steel-cut organic oats only. I don't want you using the rolled oats or the old-fashioned oats. And the reason is they can spike your blood sugar, and the fiber's been broken down. The steel-cut oats take a little longer to cook, maybe 2 or 3 minutes longer to cook. They taste a whole lot better. They have a lot more mouthfeel to them. But that fiber is going to push the food through the colon, help clean out the colon, and it's going to help with the cholesterol levels as well. So steel-cut organic oats only. Do not want you eating old-fashioned oats. And the other issue, too, is many times old-fashioned oats in this country anyway are sprayed with glyphosate. And glyphosate is a weed killer. And I want you to stay away from that weed killer at all costs. So organic steel-cut oats is going to be the way you want to go. Another thing that can help is garlic. Now, my grandmother, we don't know how old she was when she died. We know when she died, but she doesn't know when she was born. Because she was born in Italy, and it might have been the late 1800s, early 1900s. There were no records kept back then. There's no like, oh, you go to the hospital and look up the registry. She was born at home. She didn't know. Now, she lived, we're guessing, to almost 100. And she had horrible arthritis. Again, one of the many motivating factors of me becoming a holistic practitioner. Horrible arthritis, but she ate garlic every day. And her blood pressure was fine. And her cholesterol levels were fine. So garlic is great. Now, the Egyptians knew about it. They used that to boost stamina. And the Journal of Nutrition, there was a study confirmed using garlic can help stop the formation of fatty acids or plaque building up in your arteries. And this is an important issue when it comes to romance because, like we said, we have to check the nerve supply from the low back that control the organs. We have to make sure that the blood supply is right. And as we get older, we don't have as much nitric oxide. Nitric oxide opens up the blood vessels, and we have a tendency to build up more plaque in our arteries. And the blood vessels for men and women, when it comes to this area of the body, are very, very, very small. So a little tiny buildup of plaque can be a big issue. And so, like we said, for men especially, we have a special protocol in addition to what I'm teaching you here. Just send me an email, drjoe.com, and I'll send you the protocol we recommend for men as well. But we got to check the nerve supply, got to make sure you have good blood supply. And this sounds strange, but if you don't use it, you lose it. It's like any other muscle. We lose 1% of our muscle mass every year after the age of about 30, okay, especially 40. So even if we lose 1% at 40, by the time I'm 70, I'm 30% of my muscle mass is gone. And when it comes to romance, there's a lot of muscles involved. So we give you protocols on what to do about that. Now, if you're going to eat garlic, this is how you eat it. There's actually a way to eat garlic. You want to put it through a garlic press. That's the most efficient way. Or just smash it with a knife or chop it up. Let it sit for about 5 or 10 minutes. There's a chemical in there called allicin that has to be activated. And when the allicin is activated, that's when you get your health benefits from it. If you just ate a whole bulb of garlic, it's not going to work real well. Smash it up, let it sit, and then use it. Raw is better than cooked. Cooked is still good, but raw is best. Now, one of the downsides when it comes to romance and garlic is your breath stinks. So what do we do about that? I said it earlier when I talked about onions, just be careful and try to not eat a lot of garlic and onions if there's going to be a romantic interlude. And B, you can use something called parsley. Yeah, good old parsley. Make a salad out of it. And parsley is very high in chlorophyll, and chlorophyll and other chemicals can bond to those stinky molecules and help prevent the bad breath. We talked earlier about if you have breath like a potty, that's usually a digestive problem, and you want to come see us for that, and let's get your digestive system working. So pain is a warning sign. Pain is not the problem. Romantic malfunction is not the problem. It's a warning sign. If you have breath like a potty, that's a warning sign. It's a symptom. It's not the problem. And unfortunately, in medicine, we always seem to try to treat the symptom, And I'm okay with treating the symptom, but we also want to get to the cause. Let's do the two together. So when people have rotten breath, well, you can chew gum and you can use mouthwash, but maybe the food is rotten in your colon, and that's why it smells like a toilet. And many times the stomach, we talked earlier, we can pull the stomach away from the diaphragm, and you're able to digest your food more efficiently, and the bad breath goes away. I get this every now and then. I don't know it. I don't know if my breath stinks. Somebody will tell me, hey, your breath stinks. Go get your stomach adjusted. And my doctors were all trained to tell each other because we don't want to be breathing on a patient if we stink. And I'll get my stomach adjusted and it's fine. It's done. Now, is that the only cause? No, it's not, but it's the most common cause that I find. So a lot of unique things we teach you in these seminars, and that's why I want you to follow me on social media. I want you to subscribe to my podcast, Dr. Joe for the Health of It, Dr. Joe for the Health of It. And when you're driving, if you're walking, you're in the shower, I don't care, listen to the podcast. They're little 22-minute segments of my podcast, real simple. And you're always going to learn something new. I promise you're always going to learn something new. And then all my radio shows and we have long form and short form radio shows, they're on the website as well, drjoe.com. It says podcast, and then it says Dr. Joe's radio show, and you could listen to those as well. Now, if you listen to the one on the website with radio show, it's a lot of question and answer. The podcast is more content, kind of like this, but then we have the question and answers as well. And people love those question and answers because if somebody else has a problem, or you have a problem, somebody else does too. And so it's always fun and informative. If maybe not you have the problem, it's going to teach you how to help other people. And I like helping other people. Makes me happy. So, drjoe.com. Book your appointments. Follow me on social media. Send me questions through the website. The supplements we talk about are all on the website, drjoe.com. The big ones when it comes to romance are going to be nitric oxide support, omega-3 fatty acids, and of course the minimum supplements will be Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. They're 2 powders. They taste great. We have different flavors, and you can take a scoop of that. I would say the minimum protocol just generally would be Super Green Essential Source, vitamin D3 with K2, because K2 takes calcium out of your blood and brings it into the bones. So if you have some plaquing forming or calcium building up in your arteries, the K2 can help clean that out. So Super Green Essential Source, D3 with K2, B complex. Most of us are very deficient in B vitamins. And then if you're adding the romantic protocol or just general health, the nitric oxide and the omega-3 fatty acids. And now we also have men's hormone support, women's hormone support, and that's helpful too because it gives you the raw materials to produce your hormones. And the adrenal glands and your reproductive organs produce your hormones. So we want to give you the raw materials so the body can do that. So we have entire protocols for a lot of different things, but a lot of them are crossing over because there are certain things you just need to do to get healthy. Get the nervous system working, get the digestive system working, get the diet straightened out, take the proper supplements. These are the things that keep you healthy. Why wouldn't you do that? I don't know. I can't imagine anything more important than that. We're talking about foods that can help in the romantic department. Nuts and seeds are great because they have the building blocks that help produce nitric oxide, and that helps open up the blood supply for men and women, so that's very important as well. Now, be careful with the nuts and the seeds because you can gain weight. Nuts especially. I find if I eat a handful or 2 of nuts, I'm okay. If I eat more than that, I start to feel like I'm putting on weight. Now, seeds are very good, especially pumpkin seeds. Organic pumpkin seeds are high in zinc, and zinc is necessary to form testosterone. Testosterone is not just your sex drive hormone. It helps build muscle. And it's not just your biceps and your triceps. This is for men and women. What about your reproductive organs? What about your heart? What about your colon, your blood vessels? These are all muscles. And many of us are zinc deficient. And so you can get it from like shellfish, but I don't recommend shellfish because of mercury and other toxins there. So pumpkin seeds kind of solve a lot of problems. They make you feel full. They have really good fats in them. They have the zinc content in them. Brazil nuts are also very good. With Brazil nuts, you probably only need to do 3 or 4 a week. They're so high concentrated in nutrients. But the pumpkin seeds, I have pumpkin seeds I have in my car, have in my office, and I'll take a few handfuls whenever I get hungry. It's a great little snack. It's really good for you. Get organic. They're already pre-peeled and everything, easy to eat. And it works great. My Uncle Skater, all my uncles had nicknames. My Uncle Skater used to eat pumpkin seeds, the shell and all. And that just blew my mind. I never saw anything like that before. Sunflower seeds, too. And I tried it, and I just don't like it. But pumpkin seeds are amazing, very high in zinc, great for the immune system. So if you have to pick one, walnuts are going to be the best nut. Pumpkin seeds are going to be the best seed. And walnuts, I find if I eat too many, I get a little heavy. Pomegranate juice is loaded with antioxidants. And there was a study in International Journal of Impotence Research. And pomegranate rich in antioxidants, that supports good blood flow. Pomegranate juice can be expensive. It's pretty high in sugar. Eating the whole pomegranate is great, but they're expensive and hard to clean. So where else can I get these high levels of antioxidants? Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. Loaded with antioxidants. So why wouldn't you? I don't know why you wouldn't take Super Greens and Essential Source, vitamin D and B complex, at least. And again, nitric oxide, I'd add that too. The omega-3s, I'd add that too. The hormone support, I'd add that too. But I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for you. But loaded with antioxidants, way less expensive than pomegranate juice, and it has multiple different benefits. So at least do Super Greens and Essential Source. Now, we have plain Super Greens, mint, and berry flavored. Berry flavored is the sweetest. I like the mint because I like the flavor of mint. Plain can be a little grassy flavored, and yet most people buy the plain. I don't know why. But if you try it and you don't like the flavor, try the other flavors. And with Essential Source, we have plain and we have peach mango. So if you're new to us, we just added those flavors recently. So yeah, if you don't like a flavor, use what you have, and then go on to the next one. I use coconut milk, almond milk, whatever plant milk is on sale, and I'll mix that. I have maybe 8 ounces. I'll add Super Green Essential Source, shake it up, add the omega-3 fatty acids, drink it down, take my other supplements. I start every day like that, and you should too. Because supplements are not a luxury, they're a necessity. And I think it's really important that you understand that you are deficient. I don't know of anyone who's not deficient in something. And so that's why I recommend supplements, and it's very Cost effective, tastes good, it's great. Beets, a lot of people ask me about beets. Beets are great. They're high in nitrates. Nitrates convert into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide opens up the blood vessels for circulation. We're talking about romance, but for circulation everywhere. So beets are great, but Dr. Joe's nitric oxide support is much more powerful. But beets are wonderful. They're high in iron, they're high in vitamin C. So if you like beets, knock yourself out. I think they're great. Spinach can be great as well. Avocados are wonderful. They're loaded with B vitamins again. And according to the Nutrition Journal study, avocados are great, and they can help with stress, and they can help the nerves work better. If you're B vitamin deficient, the nerves are not going to be working as well as they should. So avocados are great. The thing I have with avocados, I love them, is that if I eat more than a small avocado a day, I feel like I'm putting on weight. I had a lady call in one of my shows the other day, and she said, Dr. Joe, I weigh 89 pounds, and I can't gain weight, and I don't know what to do. So I really want to sit down with her and look at her diet, of course. But the best foods to eat to gain weight are going to be avocados, nuts, seeds, and nut butters, like almond butter, cashew butter. I don't like peanut butter, by the way. It has mycotoxins on it, unless it's Valencia peanuts, but I'm not a fan of peanuts anyway. So, because of the fungus that grows on them. But avocados, great source of B vitamins. Make sure your B vitamins are what we call methylated. They're in a usable form. And many people are taking B vitamins that are not methylated, and they're not able to utilize them. About 60% of people can't utilize non-methylated B vitamins. So that's why I recommend a B vitamin. Dr. Joe's B complex, all the ones that need to be methylated are. And the B12 we use is methylcobalamin, not cyanocobalamin, because cyano means cyanide. It has a molecule of cyanide hooked onto the B vitamin, B12. Don't do that. So look at your vitamins. It's all about quality. My grandfather used to say, always buy the best. It's always cheaper. And yeah, it is. Absolutely, especially when it comes to your health. Would you want a discount brain surgeon working on you? No. How about a discount appendectomy? No. Why would you make a compromise when it comes to your diet? Because every disease known to man, every health condition known to man would benefit somewhat, if not a lot, by improving your diet. So why wouldn't you do that? Even a gunshot wound. If you're healthy and your blood is flowing properly and you're able to heal faster, I have a lot of doctors send me patients that need surgery. And they'll say, Joe, get them as healthy as you can going into surgery, and then I want you to treat them after the surgery to keep them healthy. What a concept. So now you see the two worlds coming together. Ordinary medicine, holistic health coming together to get the patient the best results possible. I love when I get a referral. Who sent you? Oh, doctor, I won't say their names. I work with a lot of good surgeons. And they'll say, he wants me to lose weight. He wants me to quit smoking. He wants me to help my diabetes to get healthy enough so that we can have the best results. So pretty much if you saw a little pattern on what we talked about today, is everything we talked about was plant-based when it comes to romance. So if you have any questions, I'm almost out of time, send them through my website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. Happy to answer your questions for you on any topic on health. Make an appointment to come see us. drjoe.com, just book an appointment. We can do virtual appointments if you don't live near me, and we can do a virtual appointment. The supplements are all on the website in the store section, drjoe.com. If you have questions about supplements or anything, just email me through the website. I'm happy to answer them for you. And follow me on social media. And here's the thing. This is really big. Sign up for our newsletter. It's right there on the on the home page of the website. We send out so many good newsletters, little tiny things, little fun facts. Many times I have discounts. We've given away concert tickets in the past. That's the elite group. So sign up for our newsletter. Website, drjoe.com. Social media, Dr. Joe Esposito. Podcast, Dr. Joe for the health of it. Thanks for tuning in, folks. I'll catch you next time. Whew. Just made it under the wire on that one. All right. What do you have?
What is the best salt to use?
Celtic salt. That was easy.
What are your favorite desserts?
I love fruit for dessert. I really do. Now, in the summer, sometimes I'll feel like something like an ice cream or something. I'll take some frozen mangoes and maybe some frozen bananas, add some coconut milk, almond milk, maybe a little touch of vanilla, whip it up into like an ice cream type thing and eat that. I really enjoy that in the summer. My father used to call them wingdings. I don't know where he came from. He says, Joey, let's go make a wingding. And we go in the kitchen and get the blender and some frozen fruit. And again, my father was not a health food nut in any way, shape, or form, but I have great memories of that. Now looking back on it, it's even better because it was good for me. And if you want to add a little super greens and essential sauce to your wingding, knock yourself out. That even makes it better. So those are my favorite desserts. Now, I mean, I love a vegan carrot cake with vegan frosting on it, but I won't eat it because I know I'm going to crash. And if I eat one, I'm going to want more. It's all sugar. So if I had to pick a cake, carrot cake is my favorite. But it's not good for me. So what else?
What are the best foods for increasing testosterone?
Basically everything we just talked about. Everything we talked about was good for testosterone. Now, pumpkin seeds are real important for the zinc. We have supplements like Dr. Joe's Men's and Women's Hormone Support can help with testosterone levels. We have something called estrogen regulator. As we get older, a lot of your testosterone is converting into estrogen. So we need an aromatase inhibitor. Aromatase is the enzyme that converts testosterone into estrogen. So we use an aromatase inhibitor, and I take that every day. It's part of my protocol. It's on my website, drjoe.com. And I believe all the protocol I do really helps keep me young. And I look at people my age. I look at people that are retired. I look at people that are grandparents, and they look like my age. And it worries me. And it's actually a challenge, too, as a single man, because a lot of my people, men and women, look like they're very old, and I don't want to hang out with old people. I want to hang out with young people. So I like to keep myself as young as possible. So, but I would say Super Green Essential Source, omega-3 fatty acids, Men's Hormone Support, estrogen regulator. That would be the protocol I'd recommend for the testosterone building. So,
Are any mouthwashes okay?
There are natural mouthwashes that you can use. Tom's of Maine, I think, is one of them. But remember, if you're going to use a mouthwash, it's going to kill off a lot of the bacteria in your mouth, the good and the bad, and a lot of the bacteria in your mouth helps produce nitric oxide. I should have talked about that. I'm going to talk about that next time I do this show. That's a good point. Mouth wash bad. Good. And breathe through your nose. Breathe through nose. Good. Thank you. Yeah, you breathe through your nose, you produce nitric oxide as well. But a lot of mouthwashes, like the commercial ones, will kill off the bacteria that produces nitric oxide. So you want to get something natural. And also what I do for fresh breath is I chew on cloves. Now, I've become kind of world famous with my cloves. But you take a clove and just put it in your mouth. Now, it may have a little bud on the end. You can break the bud off if you want to. Take the clove and just suck on it. And that is antibiotic, antiviral, and antifungal. And when I talk to somebody, I'll just take the clove and stick it up between my cheek and gum. And I'll talk to them, pull it down, suck on it, put it back in, and it keeps my breath fresh. And it's, again, antibiotic, antiviral, antifungal. And as it dissolves, chew it and swallow it because it's high. It has more antioxidants than blueberries, actually. But cloves are great. I carry them in my car. I have them in my house. I have them in my office. And it's a really neat trick you can do, and it's very safe. It's actually good for you as opposed to being bad for you. So,
is dragon fruit a good choice?
Yeah, absolutely. Dragon fruit's awesome. High in vitamin C, high in other nutrients, high in phytochemicals and polyphenols. Yeah, there's a lot of good benefits of dragon fruit. So,
that is all.
All right, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Please, what's your homework? Follow me on all platforms, right? And any questions, drjoe.com. I will hopefully see you this week, or at least